Here's a little video review, setup, and maiden flight of the new Fimi Manta Vtol, and I hope it gives you all the information that you need. And if you like it and it's helpful, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up at the end. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy. Okay, this is on the Fimi Manta Vtol. That is open source, that runs Ardupilot, iNav, or Betaflight with the FC version. And I've done a couple unboxing videos. I got both versions sent to me from Fimi to review and test. The FC version is the one you see in the background painted blue. Thing flies very good. I'm very, very happy and extremely surprised, really. I added a different GPS to it that has a dual compass on it. I didn't hook the compass up on it yet, but I probably will in the future. And the one that came with it, when I plugged battery in, it got extremely hot and just seemed like a cheap version. So I took it off and replaced it with a Matex MQ8. I had laying around, dual mag compass. Didn't hook the compass up yet, but nevertheless, I'm trying to do a good video or basic video for the user that has never used open protocol, open source, Ardupilot, iNav, Betaflight, things of that nature, because it scares them away from items like this. And it's very, very simple, because if I can understand it, anybody can. I'm 58 and not very good with computers and stuff, but I've managed to pick this up, and the hobby's great and it keeps me active. So I'm trying to do this video on this Fimi Manta Vtol, and I'm going to show a basic setup of how you put things together. And in this video there's also attachments of just still pics that you can visually look at what I'm talking about, which will give you a better visual aspect of things. But let's get to it. This is the non-FC version and non-GPS, as you can see, and I have the speedybee F405 wing. I'm going to put in that eventually and do a video on that, but right now this is just to show a basic setup how to put this together. So really, it's just these wings, and when you get it, you'll pop these out and you take the Tiltrotor rail and you want the side with the wires pointing in, so you just basically lay it in there, and you want to put a little glue in the track and a little glue on the wood, but you basically just lay it in there, lock it into place, and then right here is a little hole or a little screw that comes in these packs. But you want to put a little glue on the track first to help secure it, but you screw that in. But what you want to do first, is you want to make sure you put this spar in. This spar goes all the way through and it locks in past the back of the Tiltrotor to help lock it in. So you put that in place first, and then you put a little glue in, put the track in, and then put your little screw in. You'll see in one of my pictures I have an arrow pointing to it. And after you get that done, and of course you run your wiring out, and you'll see in my pictures you glue that into place as well. And after you get all that glued in place, you take this piece again, and they got little glue 3M sticky pads right there. You peel back, and then you can stick this back on there to cover it in place. Of course, this will be stuck all the way through, and then you'll have your Tiltrotor. You'll have this glued in place, and then these you're gonna have to modify. You're gonna have to modify these a little bit. I had to. You can get them on there, I mean on the bottom, these go on, sorry, these go on the bottom. And where the linkage for the flap goes, you're going to have to cut, you'll see, you're going to have to cut the piece off the sides right here so the linkage can run. And you're also going to have to cut this track a little bit bigger. You'll see an arrow in one of my pictures too, so the shaft doesn't run into nothing, because it does if you don't cut a little bit more out of that. So after you get this on the bottom, and then you have the top piece, and that's the one you're really going to have to modify, the top piece. On that one, you'll see I cut the whole hump out of it so the tilt rotor mechanism wouldn't hit it. And I put glue, the glue that comes with it, on the track. You glue these into place. And I also put a little piece of black duct tape on mine to help hold it in place. But that's how you put that together. And then of course you slide it in and lock it into place. All those visuals are in still pics that I have, but I just want to try to give as much basic information so it doesn't scare people away, because it's really easy. And of course you would just attach this for the servo linkage in place here and back here, boom, and then your servos in place for your flap, and then you attach whatever. This little piece is for if you're not going to run a top mount cam, you break that off, glue that into place. And I believe this is just a holder to help secure it, and, you know, hold it in place so the bottom didn't scrape in the ground. I believe that's what it is. I don't know for sure. And this glue is really, really good. So you shouldn't need anything else as far as the putting together part. Now the rest of the video, I'll get a little more into the computer part of it and the programming. But it's really simple and basic. And this version with the FC over here comes loaded with 4.3.7 Ardupilot. And I have connected ELRS 2.4 GAC jumper receiver, and that's running 3.3.0 ELRS, and I'm running HTX 2.7.1 still. Not worried about that in my TX, but that's the computer, you know, what it comes with. So I'll get on in a minute with the programming aspect of it on the computer, and give a little information on the mission planner and how to download it and stuff like that. Okay, this is just some basic information on how to download and open up a mission planner. So what you can basically do is just go on the web and punch in Ardupilot mission planner download, open it up, once it downloads, open it up, and it will explain step by step how to download and open up mission planner. And all you do is just follow this. This will explain it better than I can. So I just wanted to give you the easy way of how to find it. So like I said, you just go on the web, or Ardupilot mission planner download. Once you have it downloaded and you can open it, then you just open it. Once it opens, for those that don't know, on the bottom of the FC, or somewhere on the FC, there'll be a USB-C port, and you just plug your cable into that, and then you plug into the computer. You get two sets of prompts, a blue light, then a green, and then you can connect. Once connected, you can then This is telling me there's a new firmware available, 4.4.0, which I'm not worried about right now. I'll do that in the future when I build my FC version with the speedybee F405 Wing. So if that pops up, just get it off the screen, ignore it, don't worry about it. And then for setting this thing up once you're connected, there's not much you really have to change. I had to go in and change my servo movement a little bit, and you can just do that by what you just see me do. Hit setup, and then this tab will open, then hit servo output. And it'll come up and all your different servos will be there. I had to change my ailerons, and because they weren't going to the full max. They had it back at, I don't know, like 1900, and they weren't extending all the way, and they had the minimum at like, I don't know, 900, and they weren't extending all the way. So I just raised them the max and lowered them in, and now they fully extend. And like I said, for the shaft here not to hit, you're going to want to cut that track out in the styrofoam. And as you can see, I have my ELRS receiver and antenna on the bottom, and I have my 5.8 TBS Unified Pro 800 milliwatt with the antenna on the bottom. No reason to put it on top when your antennas are always facing the bottom of the plane. But nevertheless, that's your preference where you decide to locate them. But everything should be far away from the compass and GPS for sure. And as you can see, like I said, I changed the GPS to a Matex MQ8 that I had laying around. But anyway, that's the setup for the how to get to the servos and anything else you need to. The flight modes, it'll tell you what the flight modes are, and you can change them there. That's what flight modes come loaded with it: Q stabilize, forward flight, and cruise mode. And of course it has radio calibration once you hook the radio up, which I don't have turned on right now. But once you hook the radio up, all these will have to be movable. And you won't have a problem. But you can go into configuration, and you have a full list of parameters that you can go in and change some stuff if you want. I changed my return to home altitude because they had it at like 100 meters, and I don't want it coming back at 100 meters. I only need it coming back at like 50 meters, so I lowered it to 50. As far as setting up the receiver, you will see in still pics that I have the basic documentation in still pics that'll tell you what to use if you're using ELRS or TBS VTX. But it's very simple to find. You just, everything's here. Like if you want to go to your RC channels, you just scroll down until you see RC options, and there's all your RCs, all those options. It's very simple to find this stuff. Like my RC8 is my smart audio. That's 94. If you go through the list, you find it, you punch it in, you write it, boom, and then you of course program it in your TX as channel 8. And that's how you set up your modes. Modes come with ELRS, I believe, automatically on 6. So I didn't have to set nothing up on 6 in the configurator, just in my radio as the flight mode channel. And for smart audio, I just connected into the high definition cam port because I'm running analog cam. I got the Phoenix Runcam 2. Runcam Phoenix 2 cam in it, in the lower part, and TBS Unify Pro VTX. So in my still pics you'll see the layout of the FC, and the video in and video out just are 3 pin plugs. So if you're running analog and you want smart audio, you'll have to use the high definition cam port and run your smart audio wire to the TX wire in that port. And it's labeled serial UART-TX6 on the FC, but in the configurator it's actually serial 4. And what you'll do is scroll down to the serial serial 4, and you'll see, I don't know if you can see, but nevertheless you'll have serial 4 baud, serial 4 options, and serial 4 protocol. And you want to set the baud rate to 4, which is 4800, and options to 4, which you'll see, and then protocol to 37, which I believe is smart audio. Yes, and that would be serial 4, but it's labeled TXRX6 on the FC, and that's incorrect. So basically it's not too much you really have to do to get it flying, and it's pretty easy. As far as the VTX, you would just scroll down to the VTX section, and once you get down there, you just set, it's over here, you'll see it, you got band, channel, enable. You're going to click 1, and then you set up your max power, whatever your VTX max power is, and you have VTX options, and you're going to want to set that at 9 if you're using a TBS product. And then that would be that. And like I said, that documentation's in my still pics that you'll be able to see visually. But this thing is pretty damn easy to get flying, and for people that don't understand Ardupilot, it's really not that hard once you look down the whole parameter list. And if you get the FC version, it comes loaded already, and the only thing you have to do is set up your TX, whatever you're using. And you'll see in my maiden flight video that I use a Jumper T-Pro version 2, and it worked pretty damn good with that. So I got that with the Jumper Jaiki 800mm VTOL that I did a video on, and that thing was junk. So don't waste your money on that. But back to this, nevertheless, it came ready to fly with the Jumper T-Pro radio with LRS in it. And I just changed the internal module to the full 1000 watt in the TX. And I got a video on that too, how I did that. But nevertheless, this thing's pretty easy to get flying. And I made some battery packs, you'll see in the still pic, that are Samsung 50S batteries that put out 25 amp max, and they're 5000 mAh, and I made a couple 3-cell packs, and I had a couple 15,000 watt 15,000 mAh 4-cell lipos that I run in this too. Matter of fact, I think that's what I used in the Maiden flight, the 1500 battery. That's why I landed after a few minutes, but it flies very good, and for a beginner you should be able to pick it up pretty quick. So I hope this video is some help to people who don't understand anything about any of this. Good luck.